Survivor's ready.
If anybody has a hidden immunity idol and you want to play it, now would be the time to do so.
The queen stays queen.
You said Russell feathers.
Did you do that?
Yeah.
I'm supposed to talk calamity. We have ripe bananas all the time.
Dude, my prize isn't even $1 million. My prize was that I fell in love in this game. Love at first sight. Her name is Candace.
You officially go down as the dumbest survivor ever.
Welcome to Not Game, All Personal. Hey, we are a Survivor podcast here to talk about all things Survivor, more specifically the events of this week. I'm Nathan. This is Tony. How's it going, Tony? I'll be honest. I don't even know where to start, so I'm just gonna ask how you're doing. I got no little pun, no little quip here. Just how are you?
I am doing well. I think we all loved that episode. I think we were all massive fans, and I don't even think there's like that much that we need to get into except for maybe like our favorite parts. And then we can just end a quick episode, right?
Yeah, I probably like the least eventful episode of the season, I would say.
Yeah. Which was weird because it was like a longer one, but it didn't feel like anything crazy happened to me.
Yes, it was 2 hours. I didn't realize it was 2 hours until 2 hours if you're watching commercials, not me.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't be me.
Yeah, when Tribal started, it felt like a normal time, and then it kept going, and then I finally looked, and I was like, oh, this is an extended episode, which in some ways spoiled me a little bit, because it's one of those things where if you're paying attention to the time...
I didn't look specifically because of that. Like, I was like, I don't know how much is left. I can't look, because if I look, I know what's going to happen here.
Right, that was a good call. So I was kind of clued in. It wasn't too bad. And let me just say, I'm very grateful it happened the way it did, because this had the potential to be a disaster.
Yeah.
Now, here, okay, let's start here. I'm a little surprised because I watched it the same night. We're recording this on Friday. I did watch it Wednesday night after it aired. So it recorded on my YouTube TV. I turned it on, skipped through commercials. So I was off social media because my social media spoils me the second stuff happens. I get on. I was surprised. People seem to really enjoy this episode and specifically this twist. Is that the vibe you've gotten, or have you not? And I was surprised. I thought I was going to jump in to, like, thank God this didn't happen, but it seemed like people enjoyed it, and maybe it's just because they're being biased because of the outcome, but I was a little surprised how much praise this was getting.
I feel like I've seen a lot of positivity too, and I think it is a combination of like a lot more people are going to be excited about that outcome than Devin's going, which it felt like that's where it was going, which we'll get into that in a little bit, I'm sure. So I think it's a combination of that, and like it was just an exciting thing. Like, it was successful and everybody was excited. Like, I don't know, there was so much energy and maybe anticipation. Regardless of whether or not you like the twist, I think it was a really good episode of Survivor where I feel like it made you feel excited. It made you root for these people. It made you want this to happen. You know what I mean? Like, you wanted it to be successful. And like, we'll get into the issues with the twist because I'm sure we both have some. But inevitably, I had a lot of fun watching it, and I was more than pleased with the conclusion. It stinks for Stephanie, but like I was happy with it. I really was.
Yeah, no, I do think a lot of it is just due to the outcome, which we have our bias as well. You know, we said 2 weeks ago when it was the double elimination where we're like, well, we're not going to complain too much because we are happy with who went home. And then last week, we obviously have a little more beef with the twist and a little more beef with Jimmy Fallon. So I think that's kind of where it is. But I don't know, like, the interesting thing is I found myself rooting for Devins, but not just because it was Devins. I was more rooting for it for I did not want to have this conversation about someone going home.
That's a big part of it.
Without a vote. Because to me, that is like high risk, low reward. Like the reward here, obviously for them getting $2 million, like, great. I don't know why CBS can't afford that and has to sell themselves to like a YouTuber. Like, that's kind of pathetic, honestly. But
yeah,
And like Devins gets an idol, so there's that. But like the reward for this working is that we just do a normal vote and Survivor plays out like normal. You know, the risk to me is like this could have ruined the season, and I do think it would have. There will be forever that like what if that, you know, like whoever wins the season, it's because of a coin flip. Like that truly is. So I'm like I don't understand like why we need to do that. So it's like, yes, I'm rooting for Devins, but I'm also rooting that Survivor doesn't completely self-destruct, because to me that's like what was at stake. And maybe I'm just being dramatic, but like I do think this could have been like the hamster wheel in Big Brother all over again, where like as much as I love Ashley as a winner from last year, it's like, can we ever talk about that season without how robbed Rachel Riley was? I don't know. And to me, it kind of felt very close to that territory.
So it's so hard because I agree. Because we talked about it last week, and obviously the fact that it was Devins makes me happier about it. From what we saw, he was the person that was going home. That seemed like the message that everybody that was playing was saying, was like, yep, Devins was going home. And so he got to choose that option. He got to choose it, and so that's like a big piece of it. Rachel didn't get to choose to do that twist. Now, I think somebody had to, but he got to choose to make that risk. So I think there's some value to that. But then there's even, I don't even know if I'm like structuring this thought correctly, but it's annoying that he was I think there's a chance that he was the choice just because it was the safest option and they didn't know what was going to happen with the Mr. Beast twist. So with that looming, he became the safest option. And now since he was the safest option, he was the person that was going, and so he felt the most at risk. And so he was the most willing to take that risk and got that because of it. So I'm glad that he got the choice, but I almost wonder, like, would he have been in that position had it not been for that looming over all of them, of this like potential twist that could screw things up. You know what I mean? Do you see what I'm saying? I don't know.
I see what you're saying. I'm not quite sure.
I like how where we got to. I don't like what led to where we got to.
Sure.
Like
yeah.
Threat and everything that led into that.
Yeah, I think two things with that. And you did point out that, like, yes, he volunteered, but also they would have forced someone either way. So, like, I'm glad he volunteered, and I'm glad we can chalk this up to someone wanted to do it, because I do think that would have been another bummer of an element. Like, let's say, hypothetically, they do go to rocks, and someone fails to call heads or tails. That would have been, like, the worst case scenario. Because not only are you going to rocks, you're going to rocks without having to vote. You know, like so I don't know if him having the choice makes it that much better, because it's not like Survivor would have honored no one wanting to do it. Like, they were going to force someone to do it either way. The other part is, like, I don't.
In theory, they had to pick somebody because they got their letters. So, like, there's also that piece where, like, supposedly they knew that there would be a threat, so did they choose it? I'm not saying that's a good argument, but people would say, like, oh, but they chose it because they wanted their letters. They should be not whips and be fine with not talking to their family for 3 weeks. Like, no, that's ridiculous. But people, that's like the argument.
I don't buy that at all, because you're not going to bring Mr. Beast there. And, like, I think if they would have not chosen their letters, it would have just been like, well, because you didn't do this, now you're going to get chaos. That's what's would have happened. Like, let's not pretend that there was ever an option. Like, Mr. Beast is standing behind the trees, and they're like, oh, shoot, okay, I guess we fly him home. Like,
he just never gets to come out. That would be funny.
That'd be hilarious, but there's no way. But the other part to that is, I don't know if I was under the assumption, and this could just be my bad, maybe I wasn't as tuned in on the parts that you were, but, like, I don't know if I thought that Devins was 100% the target. I think there was so much confusion, and the edit was all over the place, that honestly, going into it, I thought it would have been between either Suri or Ozzy or Stephanie. Like, that's my impression. So when Devin started blowing up Tribal, I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. He's just having fun because he knows he's safe. But then when he went for the coin, I was like, wait a minute, what did I miss? So I don't know if that was just intentionally trying to throw us off, because, like, it was a chaotic scene at camp, which I loved.
Yeah.
But to me, him volunteering to take the coin, I don't know. That was the first moment where I realized, like, oh, maybe he was the vote.
I was trying to pay attention to it, and there were a couple moments when he like chose to do it, and I think it was like Rizzo said something about out loud about like, oh, he just saved his game, and maybe Sari. Like there were a couple comments that easily could not. They don't necessarily like for sure make it that he was the target, but the sense that I got from a couple of the comments was it was probably him. And also, I don't think he would blow up the game like that if it wasn't him. Like, I know they had this narrative of him just having fun and all this stuff. And I think just the aspect of, like, and it's one of the most annoying parts of the season and something that I wanted to talk about. Like, the constant twist makes them always go with the easiest decision in a lot of these.
Yep.
And we've talked about that already. And so if it was him, to me, it is because of this twist. Because there were reasons to go for Stephanie. There were reasons to go for Ozzy. There were reasons to go. Like, there was a lot going on, and that was all very interesting. But a part of me wonders if they weren't setting up that stuff to try to say that's what's going to happen. They were setting up that stuff to make it so that so that we know what Devins is blowing up Tribal with is true. But that doesn't mean that's the actual conversations that were happening. That doesn't mean that's where they landed. But the things that he's saying are true. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they couldn't not show most of that and then just be like, Devins brings up all this stuff, and then how mad I would have been if he's just saying things, and it's like, we don't know if that's true. I would have been upset right here. And so I wonder, that definitely happened, and it seemed like everybody was running around, and it was a pretty hectic day at camp. But I think that hectic day leads to, okay, let's go back to the safe option. No crazy move locks in when it's hectic. The easy option settles in, is my thought.
Yeah, no,
we don't know for sure, but
yeah,
that's
I could see that, and I definitely think that we've obviously mentioned that too, especially with the like earn the merge and the splitting up into teams post merge, and like we've talked about that, we've dissected that a lot, and even like former players have mentioned like that is why they do play it safe, is because they are well aware at this point that there's going to be more twists, which again has been my thing this whole season, is like we have yet to have a normal week of Survivor. Like, we have not had a merge. This whole season, we have not been merged and had just a straightforward vote where players can play. And
was it just the D vote? I think the D vote would have been the only option.
That's fair. Yeah, no, that's probably
there?
it.
But still, that's the only one, and they took out the only winner. Like, that's obvious,
right.
easy
Like
target.
that's the first vote of the merge. So that's the most boring one, because I think like if you look at previous seasons, that one is always a unanimous vote, just because it's like there's always a clear person. And I don't know. I think like that is the interesting debate too, is like how much did this twist affect all this chaos? Because like if you ask Jeff, this was all because of him and Mr. Beast, like that's which was the most clunky segue ever, right? Like, yep. I feel like I was watching like a great tribal council. I'm watching Devins put on this performance that's going to solidify his legend status, and then
People
Jeff
are backing up his story back and forth, like
right,
oh.
the most exciting tribe, or the most exciting camp conversations pre-tribal. Like I was in it. Like we finally have a sense of like, these people are aligned with these people, and now they're, I can see it all happening. It's all making sense. And then Jeff just completely is like, isn't it amazing how all of this started because of me and Mr. Beast? And I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy cannot like just let players play. And I think that's the most frustrating, because here's the thing, okay? I think, and we'll get to Mr. Beast, which I honestly, like, for as much issues as I may have with him, he was fine this episode. Like, he really was. Like, without question, probably the best celebrity appearance of the season, right? Like, he issues.
Didn't like... Yeah, I don't need... Yeah, I agree.
But the issue I had, and this is similar to what I said last week with Christian's disadvantage, where these twists are not fun in the sense that I want twists that allow players to come up with the way out of it. And last week with Christian, there was nothing for him to do. He had to read aloud his punishment, and he had to go, like, so there was no room for him to play. And I think this week was the same thing, where you get done with the auction, which was a fun auction, we could talk about it, but like, all we knew is that there was going to be some twist. Jeff doesn't say what it is. So, and I'm not saying like you should have told them. I actually don't know what the solution is there, but I'm like, if they know what the twist is, they can at least strategize around it. Right now, they are left in the dark, which leaves us left in the dark, and there's nowhere, like, what are they supposed to do? So what do? They just play a normal game of Survivor, and that was the most exciting part. Like, this episode was, to me, successful because the twist didn't work.
Yeah.
Like, that's my thought. I'm like, this has nothing to do, like, now, I think you do bring up a interesting point, like, was this affected because of the twist, and is that why Devins was on the bottom? Like, maybe, but I still think, like, we need to put more faith in these players that they're good and entertaining.
Yeah.
And they're going to find ways to make this season good. And honestly, like, Devins blowing up Tribal was the best part, and then Jeff completely cut him off. He's like, okay, let me stop you there. I like what you're doing, but we got a coin to flip, so let's shift our attention over here.
Yeah. It was such a fun episode. But that doesn't mean that I don't think this episode was like it kind of smothered the like spark of what this merge was going to be. Like, I feel like we were finally like, oh, Ozzy, it's between Ozzy and Stephanie, and these guys are going to war, and they're leaking information to each other and switching up decisions. They're going to go for Rizzo now. Like, I don't think that was any of that was caused by this mystery. I think that was just the inevitable. Okay, finally, the battle lines are being drawn. Who's going to side with who? What is this battle going to be for the rest of the season? And as that's happening, they're also like, yeah, but we could make this plan and then we could just get screwed. So why don't we just do the easy one, actually? Even though we've done we've muddied the lines so much, and we all know that we're holding guns against each other. Let's all just turn it on Devins again. Like, that's, and maybe it would have ended up being Devins regardless. That's possible. So like, as much as like this episode was good and was entertaining, and I'm happy with the outcome, I think it dampened the like game, like the good stuff that was happening, unfortunately, which is like the fear of throwing in twists is sometimes it'll ruin the good stuff that's happening. And at that point, they couldn't not have Mr. Beast come in. Like, you know, like they couldn't be like, wow, there's a lot of really good stuff happening here. Let's actually just go tell them, hey, normal tribal tonight, and see what they do. No, you can't do that. They already set this up. And so that's I think maybe one of the more disappointing parts is, and hopefully they'll pick it up next time, but there will be another twist that'll mess it up, and they'll go with easy. That's what it feels like is going to keep happening.
I think my biggest hope is that we can just play Survivor now the rest of the season, which I don't trust them, but I think the only positive light I'm seeing is that we have now officially reached all the twists that were advertised as far as like celebrity appearances and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Like, Mr. Beast was the last one. He like it was Jimmy Fallon and then him. Like, those were the last two that we saw in the previews. Exactly. And so like there's part of me that's like hopeful, like maybe we're done and maybe we can just like play Survivor, but I don't know, because I think like that's the issue too, where it's like we look at last week, like Christian going home. Was he nearing the bottom anyways? Yeah, probably. But how much can we account last week's tribal to anyone's strategic gameplay? Maybe not as much if the twisted, like, now, like, yes, Suri like did amazing work last week, right? And yes, like, you know, Jonathan is adding a notch to his belt because he got Christian out. But like, you have to have a caveat there. It was like, well, yes, but the twist also played into that. And I think the same thing here. It's like, Rick Devens, to me, very entertaining player. I think he has solidified himself as like one of the most entertaining players to ever play Survivor. Strategically, I don't know. Like, I can't say that this helps his like legend status as far as like great game players. And I think if he could have done this on his own, that could have been it. But the fact is, like, we don't even get the chance to see if he can get out of his situation, because, like, to me, a coin flip doesn't add to anyone's resume. I don't know. Like, can he get to the end of the game and be like, here's everything I did in the game of Survivor. I flipped a coin. Like, I don't know. Like, that doesn't sound like super impressive. Like, does it make for great TV? Again, yes. But does that add to anyone's like? Do we look at this vote and say like, oh, Suri really pulled out a great blindside on Stephanie? Well, I don't know, because it was because of the coin flip. So it's like, how do we give anyone credit for this tribal?
Yeah, it's we've seen a ton of players do that move where they like just go all out and like share all of the information. 9 times out of 10, that person goes home anyways. Like, that's not a viable strategy to stick around. Is it entertaining, like you said? Absolutely. And getting to flip the coin, like, is that entertaining? Sure. There's a part of me that wonders if they had moved the coin flipping to whoever gets voted out gets to flip a coin to come back into the game, and then they have to revote if they get it. That could have switched things up, and maybe we could have seen where they actually stood. Like I said, I think it was Devon's either way, so in theory it would be the same situation regardless, but maybe that would shift it a little bit so that we could see them play. But there's just so much about the like stress of what's going to happen that they're just going to do what they're going to do. And would it have been interesting? I think there's a chance that if this wasn't looming over them, like if they just knew some sort of twist was coming, maybe they didn't even bring out Mr. Beast at the auction. Maybe that would have done something. I wonder if he could have flipped the vote to somebody else. I wonder where it would have fallen if that was not looming.
Yeah.
Because that would be more impressive more than anything else.
Right. And I mean, like I said, it really felt like he was getting close too. Like, unless we were just completely getting played by what we're being shown at camp, but like he was making moves, and not even him, but like everyone, it really felt like at some point, let me look at like, it felt like everyone's name was thrown out, like I think maybe like Joe and Emily were like the only two that like weren't suggested at some point. Which was really fun. All right, before we got to talk about other players here too. But Mr. Beast.
Other players, Mr. Beast.
No, I mean, like, I do want, like, I don't want to go on a huge rant of why I dislike him, but I do think this. I think this is a good example of one of my issues with the way that he structures his competitions, and that is the presentation of doubling the prize, getting it to $2 million, right?
The little flip open? Is that what
I mean, well, okay, no, first off, does Jeff have, like, any dignity anymore? Or is he just completely selling himself to who, like... I was embarrassed for him. Like, am I crazy in thinking that was like one of the most pathetic sucking up to anyone you've ever seen?
Yeah, it was a lot. I think he was just trying to hype up, like, look at this awesome guest we have. But it was like, he's like, thanks for coming on our little show. It's like, all right, we're not buying it, dude. What is that garbage? I couldn't. I was shocked.
Yeah, no, it is, and it just like kept going. It kept going, and then Tribal Council comes. It's still going. But like and again, I don't want to just like hate on the guy, but like I just find it very funny because he offers like to double the money, right? If they win a coin flip. Now, he has the money to put out there. Survivor has the money. CBS has the money. That money is available. Like, in this economy, like with inflation, like we've talked about this, $1 million is not what it was back in 2001. Okay. $2 million they could easily do. Mr. Beast could easily do. But what he does is he's going to put it on them. And if you get the coin flip, he's going to get all the credit. Because the second that everyone's like, thank you, Mr. Beast, for giving us money. You're so kind. Blah, 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 blah. But if it fails, the blame is not going to go on him for, dangling this money in front of him and taking it away. The blame goes on the person who failed the coin flip. And
yeah.
That's my issue with like how you present, and again, that's half Mr. Beast. I think that's half Survivor too, because it's like, what are we even doing? So I don't know. It's just like really bizarre that like we're putting this kind of money just on the flip of a coin. It just feels like, I understand
Yeah.
Survivor is inherently a cruel show for like needing to vote people off and rob them of the chance of $1 million. Like, I understand that, but like this felt just like an extra level of mean spiritedness that like I don't think people are even like realizing while they're out there. And now like Mr. Beast gets to go home a hero, because wow, like for the rest of their lives, they're going to be thanking him because like he allowed them to have the chance to like double the money. So that was my biggest thing. But other than that, like I do appreciate like it felt like he had like some reverence for the show. Like he appreciated like, and I'm not saying like you had to come up there and just be the most humble person ever, but like I don't know. Like, at least he made the effort and at least he understood, like, his position. And it really felt like it was more like Jeff trying to prop him up there where he's just like, I just want to watch Tribal Council. Like, honestly, this is exciting. Like, I'm
I'm gonna
good.
sit here for a little bit. I was listening from down below. This was sick. I'm just excited to be here.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely see what you're saying. Where like dangling the money, I see that. It doesn't bother me as much as it bothers you, but I definitely
That's
understand where you're
fine.
coming from.
Doesn't bother
But
anyone
yeah,
like it bothers me. I've learned
yeah,
that.
that's true. I texted Nathan this week off air, and I was like, "You mentioned having beef with Mr. Beast. What's that about?" I was like, "Why do we hate him so much?" And yeah, so we talked about that already, so we don't need to get into it again. Um, but yeah, that aside, this is such a Mr. Beast twist, though. Like, hey, we might double the money, and it's a coin flip. Like, we're just going to put it up to chance, and it makes for good TV. And that's why he's successful, is because that coin flip or that, like, whatever it is to double your money. He offers that all the time, I feel like, in videos of his that I've seen. But along with that, yeah, like you said, it didn't feel like he came in trying to steal the spotlight at any point. It felt very humble, and he could have been putting on like a show. I don't know him personally, obviously, but it felt like he was super like, hey, Survivor's great. I got a lot from watching Survivor. Like I took a lot from this and a lot of the stuff I do, and so that was good. It didn't feel like he was trying to hijack the show. It was a very Mr. Beast twist, but I don't know. Somehow all the fault just remains on Jeff. Like any of the frustration is still just so focused on him. And I'm sorry, Jeff, if you're listening. Like you're really getting it from us this season. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I had fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like one of the things I texted you that I think I am coming to terms with is I do think part of what's triggering me about Jeff this season is the thing that Mr. Beast has as well, where I am much more interested in like watching the players and watching the gameplay.
Mm,
And I think like you can't have a Mr. Beast competition, Mr. Beast like without him being the center of it, which I understand, like because it is him. He is the brand. And I think this season is like Jeff trying to get more of that. And I think watching how much he loves Mr. Beast, like clearly, I'm just like, I'm worried that he's learning the wrong lessons. And I'm like, if we keep going down this path where it's like, I'm Jeff Probst and this is Survivor, it's like, that's not what I'm here to see. I'm not here. Like, I get the coin flip is entertaining. The analogy I thought of is, are you aware of playoff hockey or like the overtime rules at all? So,
I've heard of playoff hockey, yeah.
You've heard of it. Okay, great. It's happening right now, which is why I turned off Survivor and went to hockey immediately, and then I had this realization. But so regular season hockey, if you're tied at the end of the game, you do a 5-minute overtime 3-on-3, and then you go to a shootout. Okay, playoff hockey, there's no shootout. You just get 20 minutes, an extra period. If that doesn't happen, you do another one. So you could have 3-4 extra periods until someone scores. The reason they do that is because they've realized, like, as fun as shootouts are, it's not a good test of, like, who the better team is. A lot of it is just, like, dumb luck. And that's kind of how I feel about this coin flip, where it's like, is it entertaining? Yes. Am I very concerned that Jeff is going to learn the wrong lesson here and say, wow, people loved this, and then let's do more of this 50-50 chance moving forward? Yeah, I'm very concerned for that. So I think, like, that's where my issue is. Like, if this episode's a one-off, great, whatever, but it does feel like this trend that Survivor's following, where I just want to see players play. I want to see the best player win, and to me, this is not allowing that to happen. So that's what
Isn't
I
there
got.
isn't there like an urban legend with playoff hockey that if there's like in a sealed envelope the plans if it gets to like a seventh overtime or like later on they drop extra pucks on the ice in like overtime 6 or something like that. I've seen that, and I don't believe that it's actually true.
No, I
I've
think
definitely
that
seen
is true. I'm trying to remember though. I'm pretty sure that's like a rule, but like it's never got. Let me see. Longest overtime hockey 2 pucks. I think you are right in that though.
Which is wild.
Actually,
I
it
wanna see that
happened
so bad.
here. Okay, this is
Ooh.
called I'm looking up the Easter Epic. So this happened in 1987.
1942. Oh, I went for it.
So they had 4 overtimes, and then I don't know. This is probably not a good time for me to look at it, but I think you're right. I have heard that, but we haven't necessarily reached that point.
Just wait until they start adding more coins. And I will say, like, this isn't the first time that they've started adding this chance piece, because like the shot in the dark is a chance piece. They've done a safe, not safe coin before, where it's like an immunity idol, but it's 50-50. So like they've definitely dabbled, and yeah, this was really successful. The thing with this twist though, and I don't know if I've said this already, but I thought it earlier. This literally like there was so much risk for this to just suck.
Yeah.
There was so much risk for it to be Devins to go home, and like anybody that could have gone home, that was a big deal. But like him to go home, everyone's sad, everybody's upset. It feels unfair that he gets sent home like that. We have to complain about it that way. This is like kind of best case scenario for what could have happened here.
Oh yeah.
And am I happy about that? Sure, but yeah, like you said, like you have to weigh how bad it would have been if this had gone poorly, because I don't think they would have been able to present it in a way that would have been. And you could say like, yeah, they were going to vote Rick either way. Still, it would have sucked if it came up no, and he chose to flip this coin. And so that's just the thing, is like we're really lucky that it went as well as it was, and I'm not upset, but there were definitely issues in there. And just the issue of the constant twists makes them play a safe game. And is it interesting, the people that are left, and is there still interesting gameplay to be had? Sure. Yeah, I think so. I think it's very fluid still, and I'm very interested to see where things go from here. But still, it's frustrating that they just keep throwing this extra stuff in there.
It is. And I really hope we're done, because we are sitting with 9 people left. We got 3 idols out there and an extra vote. Seems like a lot. And it feels like these players can make it interesting on their own. It really does.
Suri not playing her extra vote is what makes me think it was for sure Devins as well. Well, I guess we didn't get to see that vote, so we don't know if he would have played it.
We have no idea.
You're right. That's on me. I got excited. I was like,
all right,
card.
let's talk about some players.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about Stephanie at all? Just as a farewell.
I saw a couple tweets. I almost sent one of them to you. Oh, I'll save that one because that one's hilarious. But one of them about Stephanie, it was just Eliza, who's played Survivor 3 times, just being like, yeah, finally she's gone. She's an awful human being. They know it, and they knew that on the island, so they got rid of her. I was like, jeez. It was like a lot of animosity. I was surprised. I was like, oh, do we hate her? I don't even remember.
Do you know their beef?
No.
Tony, do you want to open this up? Do you want me to explain to you this beef?
Do you want to open up this beef? I'm curious now.
Well, I feel like I need to give you context now.
I thought she just was like this person. She just didn't like her.
So, I mean, I apologize for everyone because we're about to get political here, but I think I have to. So Eliza is.
Then I'm less interested if it's political.
Well, it's political. So Stephanie is one of the more outspoken Trump supporters, like just straight up. As is most of that alliance. Like,
yeah.
Did you ever see the Coach and Devins beef on Twitter a couple years ago?
No.
Yeah, like Coach was very critical about Biden and then so Devins like tweeted at him, it's like, you need to go to bed, old man. So like, I hate to say it, but like I do think this honor integrity is very conservative coded as well. But Eliza is like,
I just wish that didn't matter. That's the biggest frustrate. Like, I understand why, and I understand why people are mad about it. It's annoying that is like a piece of this.
Yes, I think it's a piece because I do think there is some of that bonded them together in this alliance. Like I not enough to like make a stink about it, but like I think that is a case to be made. But Eliza is, I think she like ran for office or something too. Like she's
Yeah.
like an actual. So there's that, but then also in one of their online feuds a couple years ago, Stephanie went on Instagram Live while she was drunk, and you should just look up the video because she crosses some pretty strong lines. I
Oh boy.
think she just starts yelling at Eliza, and Eliza wasn't on the live. Like she's yelling at herself, like she's by herself on camera, and she just like starts like calling Eliza like a dirty Jew. I think like it was pretty bad.
Oh, okay.
It's
Okay.
and so before the season started,
Oh.
Eliza had a whole video, um, outlining their beef and why like she's like very disappointed that CBS even gave her the chance to play again. So that's why she
Okay.
tweeted that. So this is again, look it up. I'm sorry
Okay.
for everyone. I don't like whatever, who cares? I think they're both
Feel free to
both
cut
annoying.
that.
They're both no, we'll leave it. It's fine. I think people know. Like I don't think this is a
Okay.
hidden secret.
Okay. Okay.
I don't think anything I
Yeah,
said
I
is
know.
like
It's not the direction I expected to go.
you thought you were just bringing up a funny tweet about like, hey, she hates her. That's funny. No, there's
Fun games, right?
there some pretty rough stuff there.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Well, one of the other
Stephanie.
tweets that I said that I saw about Stephanie that I think has less to do with that will get us off it a little bit. I also saw one where she was just like talking trash about like, yeah, Rizzo. She was like, people nowadays wouldn't be able to do 39 days. Rizzo is like, I guess he like had a day where he just laid down the entire day and like medical had to check on him because he's weak because he's on 44 days in like of playing Survivor within like a 60-day period or something like, or maybe less than that. She was like, yeah, he wouldn't be able to make it on 39 days. And it's like, he's been playing for a long time. Like he ate a little bit for a week and a half and then went back out. But I saw that where people were upset that she was like, yeah, he wouldn't be able to play in 39 days. That's when it really gets hard, is once he reached 39 days, even though she got voted out on day 19.
I did see some of her exit interviews. People are very concerned that she spoiled the next few weeks of who's getting voted out. I don't know if you saw
Okay.
what she said or if she saw the
Nope,
interviews. I will
and
not say what it is, but
I'll avoid it.
if somebody gets voted out next week, then she 100% just like said it. she
Oh.
So I don't know. People are kind of there's a variety of reasons to be upset with her right now, I think, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I think she's really like, even like the other things I saw in her interviews is she still claiming it's like, I was never gonna go for Ozzy. I never claimed that. Blah blah blah. And like, so I've seen some
Okay.
compilations of like that, and then paired with a clip of her just saying like, we got to go for Ozzy. So
Yeah.
I really
There
like
was-
Rizzo calling her on a
Go ahead.
tribal council for some
Yeah.
of the way she was playing. That was funny.
Mhm. To a certain extent, like I understand her being upset with the way that she went out because she obviously got the short end of the stick with all of this twist. Like in theory, it should have been Devin's going, assuming that my read on their reactions was right. And so, yeah, she went when she probably could have lasted a little bit longer. But it feels like she's going scorched earth, and I don't know if that's going to be great for her in the end.
No, it's not. I'm very curious to see how she falls in, and like with everyone else, but like this jury to me is going to be so fascinating because I could
Mhm.
see a lot of them being pretty bitter and not for like the right reasons, Like I could see her getting to the
Yeah.
end, I could see Coach getting to the end, I could see Chris again, and like just like being very upset is like, it's like, you backstabbed me, you lied, so I'm not going to give you my vote. And I'm very concerned that we might start to reach that, especially because a lot of these honor and integrity people are starting to like, stack the jury. So I don't know. Like there's part of me that's a
Mhm.
little concerned with how this could end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a real risk for a real bitter jury against certain people. And honestly, I might want to bring those people along knowing that people hate him. Like Devon's to me is a prime goat right now because people are going to be furious, but if he gets to the end, there's a lot of people that won't vote for him just because they don't like him.
Yeah.
I saw one tweet that was talking about like it was just a cut of all the times that Devins does anything, and it cuts to Joe just being absolutely furious. that's that's a
Well,
fun new
I
thing to
think
watch for.
I think Joe was the only person that like didn't stand up and cheer when he got the coin flip, which
Yep.
was
Yep.
hilarious. Yeah, Joe is just I think I'm starting to reach the point where now that I know there is 0% chance he's going to win the game, I'm starting to enjoy him, which I kind of hate. But like he is
Yeah.
so ironically funny just in the way that he still does not know how to play this game. He doesn't understand. He said in a Instagram comment this week that when Mr. Beast came out, he didn't know who he was. Like, which is, which is fair, I guess, if you're, but it's just like so
Understandable.
funny. He is just so on his own little world. And like he had the confessional this week where he's like, yeah, people are saying this, this, this. So I'm wondering, do I go with the plan or do I keep trying to push Devins? I was like, dude, you have no sway, you have no push. The fact that you think you have
People get nervous about him.
you
People get
have
nervous about just pissing him off, basically.
you have no decision to make here. People are making the decision for you, and it's so sad that you think you have like any sort of agency right now.
The last Stephanie thing, I also saw that she said when she told Joe about her steal a vote, he was so mad he wouldn't talk to her.
Yep.
And he like walked away and didn't talk to her the whole time, the rest of the thing until tribal. Just refused to talk to her. And like just couldn't look at her because it was how could she lie to and deceive like that? And then he's talking about like, oh yeah, these people lying and deceiving, and then the people that he's working with, it's just he doesn't understand the game he's in. It feels like it's so
No.
funny that he gets so mad. And then once that happens, it's okay. Oh, and then he didn't tell her that the vote was going towards her because she had lied to him, so he didn't have to tell her.
Yeah.
Or he
Yep.
didn't tell her until tribal or something, maybe.
Well, here's the thing. I think like CBS is like trying to protect him in a way where we're not seeing like everything he's doing as far as like that stuff goes.
Yeah.
Like they're still trying to paint him as like this hero, good guy, blah blah blah, which I'm like, if you would just show us this side, I think he would be a different type of hero where people would root for, because like
Yeah.
it is so funny to watch like this
Yeah.
level of like pettiness coming from like this giant man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think you're putting him in the wrong archetype here, Like I honestly do think he's more of like a coach figure than like we even thought.
Oh, honestly, yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those things where like is the return on him worth all of the like editing that you have to do and the working around like his image? You know what I mean? Like could we have gotten a someone who actually understands the game, who you don't have to constantly protect because he's going insane and screaming at people? Maybe that's a valuable thing to consider instead. And maybe he didn't show that side in his first season because he was just all hunky dory, thinking that all of his pals were all working together when he was just getting played like a fiddle. So maybe, I don't know, maybe he just doesn't realize it. But yeah, it makes me question like why did you cast him if this is what it was going to be, if you're just going to protect him the whole time?
Yeah, I mean, I still have no idea why they cast him. Like, as much as I'm slowly coming
It's
around
because
to
of the
enjoying
Ava
his
moment.
presence.
I think maybe it was him or Ava, just because. I mean, didn't they win them an Emmy with that like moment where he helped calm her down? Did they win the Emmy?
I don't
for
know,
that, or
did they? Just like for like
think they-
Emmy for what? Just like best moment.
best
Like,
moment? Yeah,
I don't know if there's an Emmy for that. Maybe best emotional
they like went-
response
there
on
was something.
reality TV. No,
Oh,
I
they were
believe you.
Survivor's guests.
That's a
Yeah.
well,
So
okay.
maybe they weren't actually nominated, but like it was such a big moment that I feel like they felt that was probably the biggest moment in the 40s, wouldn't you say? Like the most viral thing that happened in the 40s.
Biggest moment in the 40s. That's a good question. I mean, like maybe. Well, not. I don't know. Most viral, I guess. Like that got the most.
Most viral, sure, for sure.
Yeah. I don't know.
And
if
so
that's the
like
biggest.
having a representation of that, it feels important. Feels like something that they would value.
I guess
Because people saw that moment who didn't watch Survivor, and so then they're like, "Oh, this guy's playing again. He's sick. I'm gonna watch this."
I guess. I would love to hear if there's any like Joe fans out there that loved him on that season, thought he should have won, excited for him to come
I
back.
know of a Joe fan,
And I would love to hear if they still love
Joe
him.
Mama. Got him.
Okay, that's enough of that. That was mean. That was too far.
I can see your mom being a Joe fan. Fun fact. Anyways.
I could see a lot of. I'm pretty sure it's just Facebook moms that love him. That's it. Going to Facebook mom's actual biggest. What am I trying to say?
Favorite.
Jonathan. Let's talk about Jonathan.
Okay.
Because I think he's the same audience, right? Of like, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I am so perplexed by what we're supposed to take away from him this season, week after week, because on one hand, I applaud him for playing a different game than he did last time. Now, I'm sure you're aware, but like, he's got a very close relationship with Boston Rob, and it seems like he took a lot of tips from Boston Rob on what to do. But it just feels like, similar to Joe in a way, he almost has like no agency, where if a vote goes his way, it is not because of him. He has no sway, and we constantly catch him trying to plant seeds, trying to make stuff happen, and I've made this call before. Like, I really think he's gonna make it to the end and then just like not win the game, because we keep seeing this like, man, I need to do this. This is what I'm trying to do. So I'm gonna plant this seed. I'm gonna tell a little lie here. I'm gonna get, and then like it just like doesn't happen. And once again, his ally's gone, and I'm like, where does he go from here? But at the same time, he is not a threat. Like, who's gonna vote him out of the game right now? He's not winning immunity, right? Like,
no.
So like, what is the danger of keeping him in the game?
Honestly, it's an impressive game that he's playing in a way. Like, I think of that side, he for a while has had like the most hero. We don't talk about edit or anything like that, but if we did, I could see that being the story that they're telling about him. But yeah, like he told Stephanie, from what we saw, he told Stephanie like, hey, Ozzy said this. Got her hook, line, and sinker. Now we're going for Ozzy. Whole crew, we're going. Now they pull in the wrong people, and he can't seem to rally any legitimate numbers. But that's just because they have a really fluid with a lot of our actual players who aren't gonna just fall in, which is unfortunate. So I think he's suffering from the like almost his reputation of not being that strategic person, so people don't really take him seriously, I think, in that way. And also playing with people who are all pretty savvy, like strategic players. I would say most of these people are pretty savvy strategic players. And so he's not just going to pull the wool over their eyes. Like, he's just playing in a different caliber. But if this was like he was with all newbies right now, I think he would be cooking. And so I think I genuinely, I think I am impressed by his game. Do I like him? Not necessarily. Am I rooting for him? No, but like I think he's up there for playing the best game right now. I think I'd put him in the upper half, maybe. Would I do that? I think
upper
I might.
half. I don't think I would. I don't know. Like, I hear what you're saying, but I think it's more of like the fact that it's not working. Like,
Yeah.
like that's the thing. It's like he's doing the stuff, and that's where, to me, it's like I could see how he is just taking tips and tricks from, whether it be Boston Rob or just like maybe he did his own research. Like, he's doing the textbook things as far as like, on this vote you're supposed to go for this type of person, and now you want to weed out the middle. Now you like, he is presenting that stuff, but like, I don't think he has the charisma or the sway or like whatever you want to call it. Like, and I think we've talked about this a lot, where it's like, you need those two things. You need the awareness of like, what am I supposed to do here? And you also need the social capital to pull it off. And I think that's the part where it's like, which is kind of funny, because like, even like talking about Ozzy, you know, it's like he's talking about Ozzy, this, and I agree. I think Ozzy's playing a great game, but like, Suri should be the person you're looking at, and I don't think he understands that, you know, like, so he's like close to getting it.
He was building it up. It was like so close. Like, at one point, I think he was like building up like who they're gonna go for, and then it was Ozzy, and I was like, oh, all right, that's I'm fine. I was nervous. I was like, oh, if they go for Suri, they might get people on board. Like, they might see the value of taking that shot. But then it was Ozzy. I was like, oh yeah, all right, that's not gonna happen. And then they tell Suri, and immediately Man, I love Suri. It's just so fun to watch. Like, she gets presented with being Ozzy again. She's like, quit going for Ozzy. Like, she's just mad about it. Like, what are we doing here? And it's just, she's so fun.
Well, I do want to point out it was Joe that presented that to Suri, which I found
Immediately.
very funny because not only is like, stop telling Joe information.
Yeah.
It's still like people are like, I think people understand a little more now. But even like Stephanie said in her X interview that she had no idea that Rizzo was in an alliance with them. Like she thought Rizzo was just like on the beach, and so like
Yeah.
they truly are playing a great game.
Mhm.
And I think it's just like it's showing up for like players like Jonathan, where it's like you do not have even close to the relationships that these other players have. Like Suri is
Mhm.
actually in everyone's ear. You think you are? You think you can approach like Aubrey and Devins and be like, "Hey, what if we go to like?" Maybe they'd listen to you at some point, but only if it's going to benefit them. Like you just don't have the sway like these other players have.
Yeah, he can play off of Jonathan can play off like the dumber play. That feels mean, but like the people who don't have the strategic side of the game as much. Like Joe will listen to him, but Joe will go tell people. Ozzy Ozzy went back to him and was like, "Hey man, I hear that you guys are doing this." Because Ozzy's not the best strategic player. He's just doing whatever Cerise says. And she would have told him not to do that. But that's how like it got all muddied because now Joe goes one side, Ozzy goes back to the other side, like just passing information back and forth. No one can keep their mouth shut. That's probably fair. And after I look at the cast, I think he's probably playing a better game than I'd put him above like Joe and Emily, I think, but those are the only two that I would confidently say. Maybe
I think that's
I
fair.
don't know. Tiffany's playing such a quiet game, so maybe
The thing
Ozzy's
is,
just
like
playing Suri's
Tiffany,
game, so you can maybe say Ozzy.
yeah, I mean, we can just brush on Tiffany real quick. Like the thing is, like she's just not playing a bad game, you know. Like, does she
No.
have a resume? Not really. Like immunity wins are kind of her thing, and I think she survived being on the bottom after D was voted out. So like, I think part of it is her situation where like her positioning was so bad for a while that she couldn't make a move. So like, I'm curious to see if she picks it up, but like I think that's the difference where it's like, and I don't know, I'm not saying Jonathan's playing a bad game, but I think the difference is like he's trying and it's not working. Tiffany just isn't really doing anything and it's working. So it's like both
Yep.
of them are in similar positions, but I think with her, there's just like no mistakes being made.
Yeah, they're in different stages of their game, and she's the like, okay, I was in a bad spot. Now I just have to lay low and get close to people. And he's very much in the like, I have to start taking shots part of his game. Otherwise, he's gonna
Because
be
my
next on the
people
chopping block.
are I'm losing my people, and
Yeah,
it's like
there's
week after
no
week.
ingratiate. He kind of the hard part about solidifying a specific alliance early on is now they're like nobody wants to work with him because they know that he's actively been working against them. You know what I mean? Like they know that they voted out his entire alliance. Now that he's alone, they might have a shot. He might have a shot of like kind of sidling up to one of them and being like, "Hey, let's be pals." But it's just drawing those lines early on is a risky thing, and it could have worked, but I mean the twist didn't help him. Let's be honest.
Dare I say it's a very old school way of playing, where I think Suri and
Hey,
Ozzy had really picked up on being more fluid. What?
full circle. That was full circle. You nailed
Oh,
that.
thanks.
Proud of
No,
you.
but I do think like that's the key. You know, I think the key is like Ozzy and Suri have each other. Now they have Rizzo, but like their thing is just being fluid. You know, they're just like building
Yeah.
relationships, and if they align with someone, they'll align with someone. But like their main goal is to protect each other. Where I think for a while, Jonathan and others were trying to get a very large alliance to the end, and that just it doesn't work because it makes yourself a target.
The question is still of this entire season to me: are they going to turn on Suri? It still just feels like it's all going through her. And that's I don't know, that's the big thing is in these next 3 episodes, is there ever going to be a moment where it's like, hey, it's time to get Suri? Or will she be so well insulated that that's impossible? Like, will it be too late?
I think you have
I
to. I
could
think
see I could see Jonathan like attaching himself to her and be like, I'm never voting out Suri. And then she just gets to the end because she has like 5 people that will never go for her.
well, I think yeah, you have to look at like Rizzo and Ozzy. I think are like the most for sure never going to vote for her. like maybe Tiffany. We haven't seen enough of their relationship to know like if the rapport's there. But I think you have to, one, keep those people safe, but then also keep just slightly bigger targets. And I think we're starting to run out. To me, like Devins is like the obvious one where it's like, if it's between Suri and Devins to get to the final, I think she could easily convince him like, hey, we cannot let Devins get to the final, you know? But like everyone else, like I'm worried that like the threat level on these other players, like Joe and Emily and even like Aubrey, and I do want to talk about Aubrey's game quite a bit because it's fascinating.
Yeah.
But like those are the
Yep.
players to me where it's like you'd be a fool to keep Suri over those players. You know, like take Emily to the end, take Joe to the end, even take Aubrey to the end at this. You know, so like that's my thing. Is like I think she needs to get rid of some of those lower people and keep a couple big threats left.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And that's that if Tiffany's going to make a big move that's going to give her that move to win the game. Like you said, she hasn't done much yet. That's the one. So like you saying like seems like they're pretty tight. Like this episode specifically, while a lot of that information was coming to her, Tiffany was right there. Like it feels like they were chilling in the hammock together for a lot of that strategizing. And so it feels like they're pretty close, and that feels like I mean that's the person who takes out Suri in some ways I think might win this game. And so that might be the only hope for some of these people who haven't done much to this point. And we know Joe would never do that, so we don't have to worry about him. But Aubrey,
Yes, Aubrey.
this episode she didn't do really anything. Like she was there, she was a part of it for sure. She was in the conversations, she's backing up Devin's story.
She did
was
a little
there.
dance while she ate some slugs.
But they gave her dude, this I was messaging coworker Nick about it yesterday. This felt similar in the focus on a person to the Tony episode in Winners at War. Like obviously Tony drove that episode and made a lot of the decisions, and that's what made it so special. But like she got a big edit of like, oh, I'm going to redeem myself from season 32. I'm going to take some things from Michelle's game from season 32 and like all of that. I don't know. She's got that winners thing that we don't talk about. I don't know. I see it and I don't know if I'm excited about it or not because I think there's other people that I hope win over her, but I wouldn't be upset.
I completely agree. And I was trying to explain this to Elena, well, because she was watching it with me, and she does, she's not quite in on the meta gaming or the meta watching that we do with that, right? So I was explaining to her, and it hit me too, where it's like she is saying all the right stuff that a winner would say. And the bigger sign is that what she is saying is not matching what we're seeing her do in that given episode. Which is even more of a sign that they're trying to warm us up to her, right? Because it'd be one thing if like a player says like, I'm going to do this, and they do it that episode. It's like, oh, they did what they said they were going to do. She is talking a big game while seemingly laying low. Yeah. Which again is like, why? Well, so then the question is, why would you include that in the episode? Well, because they want us to warm up to her. And I think the most ironic part is like, I think if she wins, I think it's going to be similar to a Michelle win. I really do. Where
depends who she's there with, but yeah, there's a real chance.
Right, like if she's sitting there again with like Joe, Emily, Jonathan, but like
give her the money.
If she gets to the end and like beats Ozzy, I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be upset because she's not playing the strategic, flashy social stuff that he's doing. What she's doing is just trying to play a cool game to get to the end and then maybe talk her way into a win, which I don't know. Like there's part of me that like really would love to see her get at least one big move in because I don't know how satisfying that's going to feel.
Going for. So if she says that she's going to make a big move and then doesn't, that's just not great. So I feel like there has to be something. Or she has to take a swing and miss. Like it has to be coming, right?
When you said this reminded you of the Tony episode, to me, this more reminded me of the Erica episode from 41,
Yeah.
where there was one
Yeah.
specifically where all of a sudden she started saying stuff, and we're like, why is she saying? She's been quiet the whole season, and all of a sudden now, like, we're getting all these, like, so to me, I think that would be a comparable win, especially depending if she beats someone that, like, as far as, flashy moves go, similar to like Xander. Like, if she beats
Yeah.
someone like that, I could see that being a comparable season, which, isn't the most favorable win for a lot of Survivor fans. I know, like,
No.
we appreciate it for what it is, but, like, I'm a little worried that we're going to get a season like that, which it is what it is, I guess. But I think, like, coming off of, like, the last all returning season, Winners at War, where it was like, it was a satisfying winner. It was a strong win, one of the strongest wins. I don't know. Like, it's gonna be interesting to see how we process that if she wins based on having a very quiet season.
Yeah, it feels like there has to be something coming. And like stuff has happened. Like the beef with Genevieve was a big story, at least for us in that pre-merge. Like we were like, when are we gonna get the payoff of this? And we finally did. It might not have been the most satisfying. Like, and then her just not playing her idol and all of that. Like she's been a part of the story. So it's like Erica came out of nowhere. So it's not quite to that extent. But yeah, that's not a great comparison. That's not like the story arc that you want to compare yourself to. So hopefully she starts making some big moves. Maybe she's going to take that Suri shot because that feels like that's going to me that or Devon's is just going to define the game, getting out one of those two.
Well, I will say,
but I see it. They're trying to sell us on her hard, so there's got to be something there.
The two things I do appreciate that she did this episode, which I hope they highlight in the next one, because this wasn't on the forefront of, like, here's what Aubrey's doing, but, like, I noticed it. One was the throwing out Ozzy's name. I'm pretty sure she was one of the first to, like, say that. Now, she didn't technically say his name. I rewatched it, but, like, she did insinuate, like, hey, there's a bigger threat out here, blah, 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 blah. And then Jonathan was the one that said Ozzy first. So, like, when Devins was like, I'm going to blow up Tribal, she was just left innocent, even though she was maybe more guilty than Jonathan and Stephanie in that scenario.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is when they were going into Tribal, Devins goes to her like, I'm going to blow this up. And she's like, I'm right there with you. Let's do this. And then she did not do it. So, like, really, like, almost egging her on. Like, so if she can explain that and frame it and take credit for that, because, like, I appreciate that. Like, let me just, like, halfway plant this thing so they can plant the seed. That's brilliant to me, but I hope that's intentional, and I hope she can explain that, because I felt like that was really like great moves that she pulled off.
That's the hardest part, is you have to be able to explain it, and you have to have people who can vouch for it on the jury. And that's where transitioning a little bit, unless you have more to say about Aubrey, like that's where Rizzo, I think, is going to find his biggest challenge, is finding people. Like, I think Suri might vouch for him, but if they're both at Final Tribal, like, I don't think she's going to vouch for him. I'm nervous that regardless of how much we see him doing and how impressive we feel like he is, everyone views him as the little kid. No one respects him as a game player. Yeah, I just don't. I'm nervous that that's what his story is going to amount to, is no one respects it, actually.
Yeah, it's interesting, because I think, like, when we saw him back with the Charlie vote, we were, like, I think rightfully so, just, like, praising him as far as, like, man, like, I guess he is, like, pretty good. He's,
Yeah, I firmly think he's
thing.
a good player now, yeah.
But I almost wonder if the longer he stays in this game, does that hurt his reputation more? Because I think if he were to go out, like, let's say last week, by a twist or by, like, a blindside, I think you would maybe look at that as like, oh man, he was such a strong player. Like, but if he turns into the player that nobody is threatened by, and he makes it to the end, gets very little votes, if any at all, because he's just not a threat, I almost feel like that hurts his reputation more. And I don't know if that's true, but, like, I am worried, like, he might have been better just going out after the Charlie vote, because now he's had a couple weeks in a row where, like, he's just laying low, which doesn't help your legend status as much.
Yeah, it's being a victim of the perception as the reality. Like, regardless of whether or not he actually is making moves or is really good, If you don't think he is, then he loses that social capital
Yep.
that we were talking about with Jonathan, where he can't do it in the future. You become a victim of the character you are in Survivor, and I think a lot of people, I don't know, that'd be an interesting thing to really dive into, with each of these players and looking at their returning seasons and stuff like that. Like Aubrey is for sure still a victim of like being the sneaky, conniving player that I think she was in her first time. And is that untrue? No, but that's what she's seen as. And same with Devins, he's seen as like this super crazy, like theatrical player. And is he that? Yeah, for sure. And does he play into it? For sure. But some of these people I think are trying to get out of the archetypes that they've been put in by their past. Like Jonathan is trying to switch up how he plays. But no, you're kind of a victim of being that big lughead.
Yeah. I'd say like the most successful person that switched it up is Ozzy. Like I'm still impressed by him. And I know he's taken a lot of cues from Suri, but the fact that
That's
like
the thing.
he's learned to listen, I think is pretty I still love seeing him.
He has learned to listen. That's fair. I'll give you that. It feels very, I don't know. It feels like what I think that the JT Fishback duo was like, where the two of them which Suri I think would be doing this without him, but those two, JT and Fishback, I think both benefited from each other so much, and the sum of their parts was so much more than they were individually. Either of the times they played, any of the times they played, and I think Ozzy is getting a lot of that benefit just from I don't know, maybe he'd play again and not be connected to Suri and be a lot better, but I wonder how much of it is just the fact that he decided to listen, like you said.
Well, I wonder because I think like he does have the social relationships, like he
Yeah.
has been bouncing in between. Like he is playing the middle without people realizing it until maybe now, maybe they're starting to pick up. So like I do wonder because like I think we talked about when Suri went to exile for like that short period of time. She comes back and she's like, "Why are you voting for Devins? No, we got to keep him. We got to vote for this person." Like I think the argument could be made like, was that the right move? I don't know. Like if Devins gets Suri out, maybe Ozzy was in the right there. So it's like yes, he's listening to her, but I think I'd be curious to see this new version of Ozzy where he is flipping in between all these alliances, like what that outcome would have looked like. Because I don't think it would have been the wrong outcome. I think it just would have been a different one. But yeah, I am. I mean, I don't know. Like I'm gonna be real bummed if we lose any of them because I want to see. Like I feel like we haven't seen enough of them in the past 2 episodes. Like just the 3 of them plotting because I still love that alliance. I love that trio. I think that is just beyond fascinating and just like a diverse group of 3 players, and it's very fun watching them all play together.
And honestly, it might just be because they're not together very much. Like kind of like they said, they don't see Rizzo as being a part, like working with anybody, because they're probably connecting for a couple seconds and being like, "This is what we're doing," and then, "All right, cool," and then that's the end of the conversation, which is kind of what it needs to be. Like when you see an alliance that's constantly all just chilling together, they're the ones that are the most obvious alliance and the biggest threats. But yeah, it feels like kind of like I feel like it's kind of like how we were last season, where it's like all of these things are going Rizzo and Savannah and Sophie's way, but we're not seeing them talk about it enough. And I want to see them talk, like I want to see them making these decisions and making these moves more. It feels like there was that disconnect that I complained about a ton last season. And I think that to an extent, like it feels like to me Suri is still running this game, and I want to see her running this game. And I want to see her and Ozzy and Rizzo, because that feels like the main 3 like working together and having these conversations more. So I'm all in on that. But can they show us that without just telling us what's going to happen in the episode? Like that's, I think, feel like the wrestling match sometimes the production has to make, where it's like, if we show them saying what's going to happen, that's just what's going to happen. Like they just make the decision. So it's tough.
Yeah. No, I think that's very true. Anyone else we need to talk about?
Emily's still pretty background. She's fun. Like she's a fun sidekick to Devon's for sure. But I feel like we get to see him just like say what he's actually doing and what he's actually thinking. Like she's kind of a production in that way, where she just kind of is that like,
Yeah.
oh wow, yeah, I'm excited with you. I just don't. She's not doing much. She really isn't. Her saying that it was the first time she had been on the wrong side of the vote was wild, except for when she got voted out, I assume.
Yeah, you probably don't count that. In
When
the
she
same
lost
way
the
where
vote,
it's
I don't remember.
like, even for that person, like if the person who got voted out votes, it's still considered like a unanimous vote. So I'm assuming that is probably like the qualifier, because
Yeah, that's a good
you
record to have.
it is, yeah. And after this episode, she's still good. So still just once, just one time on the wrong side. All right. Anything else that we miss?
Got it. The Survivor auction. Any thoughts? I actually had fun with it.
Yeah, it was fun.
They gave them a lot of food, but they were fun.
Yeah. I think it was Joe that didn't get any food, and who else? I thought there was one more person. Joe said he was waiting for a burger or steak, and it never came, which is a very just
Okay,
funny. I don't know.
Joe. That's a Joe thing.
But then he said when he got home, he used that $500 and took his wife out for steak.
I love that. Do you remember the moment? I don't know if it was when Aubrey was eating the grubs or when Jonathan was eating the whatever. But it cuts to him and he's going, "Oh no!" or something like that, really weird. Do you remember that moment?
I do. I don't remember
I
which
just
one
thought
that
that was
was,
funny.
but
I just
again, it's just
thought
like an
that was a really funny
ironically
moment.
bizarre character that I don't know. I don't understand.
Also, we're still learning things about Suri that her dad never wrote her a letter. That was a fun moment. I don't know. That felt like the biggest standout thing in the letters.
Yeah, I honestly didn't
That she's been
even.
on for this long, and that
I think I stepped out of the room during the letter, so I didn't even catch that stuff. I don't.
yeah,
It
that's
was
fair.
no offense. It was just. I think it was like, oh, here's my chance to. I don't even know what it. I think
Yep.
I was putting the dish away or something. Like it wasn't even important, but
Mm-hmm.
it was late. I was watching. It was like 11:30 at night. I was like, I gotta end this episode. Keep it running.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right.
But yeah,
Well,
I think that's all I got.
that's the episode. Thanks, Mr. Beast. Shout out.
Can we
Very
add the
grateful.
oh no that Joe does to the intro?
I will see if I can find it for next episode. Yeah. I already played the intro for
Thanks.
this one,
Thanks.
but next week we'll see if we can.
That means a lot to me.
All right. For more episodes, visit
Also, make it a ringtone. I want that as a ringtone whenever you call me or you text me.
Yeah, because I call you so often, and people still use ringtones.
We talk on the phone regularly.
Find more episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere there's a podcast. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube at NGAP Pod. That's at NGAP Pod. I'm Nathan. This is Tony, and we will see you next week.
18 seasons, 2 pals, 1 podcast.